Welcome to Natarita, Colorado. This is one of the jewels of the west end of this state. We live on Highway 141, which you see in the distance, and this is over the area of my house. That is the bus garage and the buses that are parked. And this is an aerial view of our property from about 80 meters, I think it was at, if I remember right. And I'm zooming down into the garden area, just doing a flyover of our main production garden. And as you can tell, I've had some row cropping out and I've done some planting. I do have, looks to be 8 rows of corn in that garden. And at this point, I had yet to finish the hoeing to break up the clods from my turning. I do have it completed now. I actually have an additional walkway in the garden, and I have 4 rows of peas in the other section now. I still have about 3 rows area left to add into the garden, but we're working on that, and that will likely be our lower crops like carrots, things along that line, the low base ones, because they're nice and shady over in that tree line. This is a lower elevation, and I'm just descending onto the yard and kind of adjusting out and doing a quick pan to give you a view of it. The yard itself, it was a long one, dry winter, so a lot of my sod is down hard, if you know what I mean. Lately, over the last 8 or 9 days, a lot of the green has picked back up. I think overall, being it's mid-May, by June, I should have a full green yard. But I was just a little disappointed in the level of thatching that occurred over the winter. So I've got to look over how to prevent that for next season. But also having, yard and grass, there went a bird, by the way, that is one even uniform section will help. This property was so entirely grown over 8 years ago or 6 years ago when we moved here. You couldn't even tell what was where. It was all sand and tall weeds, no grass. But I've done a fair amount of landscaping. I've replanted probably about 3 coats of yard seed now, and it's finally starting to take. We're going to go in now. You can see my shadow off in the distance. I filmed this later in the evening. And I'm just giving a view down Payson Street here. This is the street that I live on in Natarita. It's my neighbor's place with the flag. And this is my other neighbor, Mo, and her trailer. We're going to fly in a little bit and just visit with Charlotte briefly. I'm training with this craft as I fly, so I did learn how optical flow can be disrupted. Like if you go into a garage and fly over the three-wheeler, the aircraft will tend to want to go up because of the optical flow sensors. It is geared to be at the heights it's at in relation to the ground. So when you go over something higher, it will elevate and drop with the changes in altitude, like a trike or a car. So while I wanted to come in and get some nice pictures of the Can-Am, and I did, that's a nice video image of my dirty shop, but I am in mid-plant right now, so it's a very busy time of year for me. I decided to get out of there because I kept running into that issue with the optical flow sensor. And in that instance, why I went up so high is I'd flown over the Subaru, and I almost went into the ceiling over it. And then, of course, the distance features, it just gets wiggy inside, especially with that optical flow meter if you're flowing over anything. If you're going to fly indoors, make sure you don't cross the furniture, if you know what I mean, because your elevations change with the optical flow sensor. So that was something unique that I learned about it, and I'm glad I had a chance to do some fine flying just to kind of get used to coming in close to objects, not being scared by them. But I did not wreck this time, and that's important. So I went ahead and went to a higher altitude, and now I'm going back over the rest of the yard just to give you a nice sunset feature view of the yard. And the greens are really coming up nice. Like I said, there's still a lot of patchwork coming up, but we're getting regular watering now since the 1st of April. And the trees really appreciate it. I know that. They're done pollinating. So we're able to rake up and green up the yard that way. But the rest of it is now just a matter of, watering and patience. And you look at the other yard, that's because of the dog waste. So I've got to get that raked up again. And I'm going to look into getting gravel put down on that section of the yard and a large shade in the back, because it just appears to me that the fence isn't going to be done by the county, that they're still continuing to lie about it. It's something that I have to do, so I'll take care of it. That's all I got for now, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. Have a pleasant night. We'll talk to you later. Bye.